And welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's great to be with you on a gorgeous Thursday, fall undoubtedly in the air. Today's program, absolutely dynamite. Kelly Jackson in a matter of moments on the I Love CVille Show to talk schools. She's got one in public and one in private here in the Albemarle County area. And what better person to chat with than someone who has seen the trials, the tribulations, the nuances of a public school education and a private school education firsthand than Kelly Jackson. We're going to thank our friends at the Clifton for being a part of the show. Folks, the Clifton in Keswick is a memorable experience, whether it's weddings, it's events, it's dining, it's happy hour. The team at Clifton, true professionals. Consider them for anything special if you'd like to make memories. Judah Wickower is our director, the man keeping us on air here on Facebook and across social media. Judah Wickower, if we can go to the two-shot and welcome Kelly Jackson to the program. KJ, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Jerry?
It's great to have you.
Thanks. It's great to be here. I feel comfy in my old seat.
You got your old seat. She's got a new chair. She's the star of Women Changing Our World. And today she's a mom with two kids, two awesome daughters, one in private school and one in public school. I'll get out of your way. Introduce yourself to everybody that's watching.
Sure. I'm Kelly Jackson. I live in Charlottesville. I have a franchise of Panera Bread locally and all around Virginia. And I'm a mom.
It's amazing. It's awesome. What concerns you the most of schools today?
I think my biggest concern is there's not enough forward thinking. A lot of the problems, like the buses, not having enough teachers, things like that didn't just pop up. It wasn't something new. It's been going on and on and on. And for there not to be quicker action, because they've known this is a problem for years, and now they're coming out with solutions that aren't going to take place till the beginning of next year.
Why did you consider the private and public path for your two daughters?
Sure. So my oldest is in the HMSA program at Monticello, which is kind of like a private school within a public school. Right? With all the AP classes, with all the honors classes, and the opportunities that program gives her was the best fit for her. I can't say that all children in public school are getting the same experience that she has because she's in that STEM program.
Let's go with the public schools first. We've been covering them, very closely on the show. We got teacher shortages.
Yeah.
Bus driver shortages. We have money being spent on rebranding.
That blows my mind.
You want to go down that road?
Yeah, let's go down that road.
We highlighted Sutherland Middle School that is now Lakeview, the Lakeview Sharks.
Okay.
I'm not sure the body of water next to Lakeview is a lake. It seems like
pond?
It's more of a pond.
A puddle?
Might be a puddle. That might be a topic for a different day. They spent money on rebranding. We highlighted the fact that there's a sign right on campus that hasn't even been changed despite the money being spent.
Okay.
The money not being spent on the teachers or the drivers concerned me. I've caught some flack for that. We understand Sutherland's history, certainly a man tied to, cut to the chase, racism.
Right.
And neither you nor I stand for that.
No.
We want to emphasize that to everybody that's watching.
For sure.
But what we do stand for is utilizing revenue appropriately, and it seems to me paying teachers and getting them in the classroom and getting bus drivers taking kids to and from school on time may be the top priority right now.
I mean, I agree with that. And you're a brander, right? I'm a brander. I'm in marketing. I think there's a very simple solution, Jerry.
What's the solution?
Without spending any money. Let's just pick something that's non-polarizing like a zip code. Right? Monticello then becomes 22903 high school. How about that? Right? Or pick a color. Blue elementary, green elementary, red elementary.
Is that what it's come down to?
Wouldn't that just be the easiest? Right? I mean, New York City, as we discussed, does that. They call their schools by their zip codes.
Why do you think we're in this position?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't stand for people and things being named after people who have done bad things. So I support that, right? If, like Sutherland, that name should be changed. But there's a cost-effective way to do it without hiring a marketing company, without hiring consultants, without hiring focus groups. I mean, and frankly, the county isn't being transparent on how much these rebranding of the schools is the problem. I mean, I've looked everywhere, right?
So have I.
And there's a lot of numbers being thrown around. It's not cheap.
Right.
I know it's not cheap.
Right.
Right?
Why? Okay, so parents that are watching this program, administrators, front office personnel, board of supervisors, just folks in general, why can we not find the cost online for the rebranding efforts for these public schools? I encourage anyone to try. When you don't have transparency and straightforwardness when it comes to financial numbers, it breeds concern, or worse, what are people trying to hide? That's me. Am I being a conspiracy theorist here?
No. I mean, if you don't, then it leaves people just to make up whatever they want to say.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Now, are we talking 50,000? Are we talking 10 million? I mean, listen, I know it wasn't just 50,000.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we know it wasn't probably just 50,000. We know it wasn't 10 million, but what is the number?
right. And then, what goes into that, right? Rebranding or naming of a school. It's not only taking down the sign and putting up a new name, right? Think of all the letterhead. Think of creating the new logos. Think of the student IDs. Think of all the signage in the basketball court. Right? I mean, it's not cheap.
No. And where does it stop? I mean, I brought this up earlier in the week, and I did this almost tongue-in-cheek, but then I started thinking about it. I mean, are we going to start rebranding, say, Monticello High School? Because it was the home of Thomas Jefferson.
Probably.
I mean, does it go to that point?
I don't know. I have no idea, right? Who is saying, I'm sure Monticello is offensive to some people.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I can understand that, and I can understand why. So I guess if you want to rename it, but just name it something easy. Right.
I mean, so are we at a point here in Charlottesville and Albemarle County? I genuinely ask this question. We're spending, we'll call it tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax dollars. We can't get a straight answer from Albemarle County Public Schools. Are we at the point now where we're going to go the route of New York City, and they're going to be called PS 90, PS 87, and PS 14?
I'd be fine with that, though. Let's just get it done. Let's get it done quickly.
Okay.
And cost effective.
Let's talk about the teacher shortage and how you've seen it potentially impact curriculum.
Sure.
And the public school system.
Yeah. Well, the public school system is interesting. They say no homework is allowed. But obviously teachers get around that, right? Here's an assignment that's going to take you 45 minutes, but they're giving it to the kids 5 minutes before class is out.
Okay.
Right, so then that then becomes homework. I will say they have done a really great job with the cell phone policy. I didn't think that was going to be enforced.
Okay.
And it really is enforced, which I think is better for the kids.
Explain the cell phone policy.
If you're in a classroom, you can't have your cell phone out.
Okay.
Last year, my daughter said at least 50% of the kids in class just had their earbuds in and were Snapchatting their friends the whole class.
That's bananas.
So I think that's a helpful change. Teacher shortages, it just causes more children to be in a class, right?
Do you? People are commenting on the feed right now about no homework. When did no homework become the norm?
Right? And frankly, what is that going to do to the kids who then go to college?
Where you have homework.
You can choose not to do it, but
you're not going to last long.
No. And then, although I do like this, the no homework thing, I think you're not teaching your kids study habits. Right?
Yeah.
Or if the teachers do give homework, they're not allowed to grade it. So how many kids are choosing to do it? I mean, my kid will, but most kids wouldn't.
I want to get to some bullet points here. Self-learning in public schools. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, a lot of the classes, the kids are pretty much teaching themselves, meaning here's a chapter, discuss it with your table group. There's not a lot of instruction being done in a lot of the classes. It's more, here's something to do, here's something to read, here's something to do, and you do it as a group table. Which I think some of that is great, right? But she could do that at home by herself.
And you're fortunate in that you have a daughter who's a self-starter.
Right, yeah.
For me personally, I had to have that kick in the pants to do the work. I was able to coast to a certain point and do really, really well, but then eventually you get to a point where you do have to work to get the results. And if I didn't have teachers that kicked me in the pants, I wasn't doing this. Do you think that the integration of like technology has helped with education or has hurt education?
I'm going to go both ways on that.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of great tools out there, right? So, for example, my daughter takes a lot of her tests and quizzes online. So that, therefore, it saves the teacher time to grade, which is great for the teachers because they have a ton on their plate. Listen, these teachers in Albemarle County are busting their ass and trying the hardest they can with very limited resources that they're given, right? Mm-hmm. So I do not blame the teachers at all.
I don't blame the teachers either. And I've said that so many times on the show. We stand by the teachers. I'm speaking for myself here. We stand by the blue, by the police. We do not blame frontline folks that are being put in a position that is extremely difficult to find success with.
Right. Could you imagine trying to stand up and give a presentation, for your business, people in your business, and 90% of them are like this.
Right.
And not even paying attention. Could you imagine what that would feel like? And that's what these poor teachers are doing. So you had to give them props for that.
So where does the accountability fall?
I think about it like a business, right? Like the principal is like the general manager.
Right. So the principal is like the GM of Panera.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
I think so too. I'm with you. I like this.
And then I would think, who would be next? Matt Haas?
He would be what? Chairman of the board? CEO of the organization?
CEO.
Okay.
Right. And then the school board is the owner. So it starts from the top.
So I would say this. I love this analogy. Superintendent Dr. Matthew Haas, the CEO, we'll call him of Albemarle County Public School System. The school board will be the chair people.
Sure.
And the CEO, Matthew Haas, has to respond to the board of directors, which is the school board.
Right.
And then you have the lieutenants, the sergeants.
Right.
And then you have teachers, which you would call essentially like your foot soldiers,
right,
if we're making the military reference here. So I caught some heat here because I've tried to hold Superintendent Matthew Haas.
But the board's the one.
Oh, okay. So you want to go school board? Talk to me about that.
I'm going to say the school board is ultimately responsible.
Okay.
Right? If something bad happens in my business, I'm the owner. At the end of the day, the buck, it's on me, and I took on that responsibility. Right? So I feel like it's the board. They're the ones that are telling Matt Haas what to do, correct?
Yeah, yeah. He has to answer to them.
Right.
Michelle is watching the program. She, like me, just found out that homework is not allowed. Michelle shied, and she's taken aback. I'm also taken aback. Can you put homework in perspective when it comes to a private school versus a public school?
Yeah, so my third grader... my family's been part of two different wonderful private schools here in Charlottesville. Both are great for a variety of reasons, just different. So my third grader has homework.
Okay.
And it's not a lot. She's in third grade, right? So she has to do a half an hour of reading every night, every day, and then does 25 minutes on a math program. And she's in third, so she has more homework essentially than my high schooler who's in AP classes.
Folks, we hearing this here? We're hearing this here. Scott, we love you, Scott. Welcome to the show. Folks out in Crozet dropping some knowledge right now. Thank you, Crozet, for joining us. Sam Cash, welcome to the program. Can you talk to me about first period in public schools?
Oh, my goodness. This is such a joke, Jerry. Okay.
All right. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So school starts at 8:50. That's when the doors open.
Okay.
Okay. This is for high school. I'm only talking about high school. I don't know about middle. So then they have homeroom. Then they have something called Mustang Mornings.
Okay.
I think that gives you like 40 minutes where you can go retake a test, because you can retake all your tests and quizzes. So you can meet with a teacher, you can do homework, whatever. It's like you do whatever time. So then real classes don't start till 9:50. And so they sent out an email on Sunday saying, if your child doesn't have to meet with a teacher, they don't have to come to school till 9:50. What?
School starts at 9:50?
Yeah. I mean, instruction, right?
How did you respond to that? It is what it is?
I mean, what am I going to do?
Is this directly due to the bus driver shortage?
I think so. I mean, it wasn't that way last year.
Okay.
So I'm guessing.
What is your take on, because, we respect your opinion tremendously here. What is your take on this bus driver shortage?
I'm mad that they knew this was happening. It's been happening. It happened last year. So why was there no plan in place, or put a plan in place this summer for this year? And now they're saying, oh, this is what we're going to do starting next year. Well, how does that help the kids who are sitting on a bus for 2 hours?
It doesn't. It doesn't help the kids. There's some kids that are in our area of Albemarle County, eastern Albemarle County, that literally are getting home 90 minutes later than they're supposed to. And I feel for the bus drivers, because the ones that are working now are running
double duty.
Okay, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so my daughter didn't have a bus at the beginning of the school year. So this wonderful bus driver was doing, I guess, middle school, pick up and drop off for middle school, then coming to our house and picking up our kids. Now, there was like a 30-minute window of when the bus could come, right? So what is the kid supposed to do, stand outside for 30 minutes in the rain?
And you guys are fortunate in that you can drive your daughter to school.
Right.
Many can't.
Right.
Like, I mean, and we were having this conversation a couple days ago. There's a mom in the neighborhood who is like so selfless, and she legitimately is like making the rounds around the neighborhood in her minivan.
Right.
And trying to stockpile as many kids in there as possible.
Right.
Because so many are two-parent working families.
Right.
And the crappy part about this is it's like the middle
People are texting me. They're like, what? No homework?
I know. I'm getting this as well. Bill McChency, hello. Vanessa Parker, hello. Nicholas Erpy, hello. Late for class because of trailers? Talk to me about that.
Oh, yeah. So the way Monticello is laid out, there's different color-coded halls, right? A purple hall, green hall, whatever. They don't have enough classrooms, so they put trailers in for classrooms. So they have 5 minutes to change between each class. If you're on the far end of Monticello, it's a good hike to get outside and across this field to these trailers, right? I mean, there's no way you're getting there in 5 minutes. So every time she has a class in the trailer, she's just, late.
You got this comment coming in from Kevin Higgins in Greenwood, Virginia. He is a phenomenal father of two. He says, we have buses, Kelly, over an hour late. Some kids are missing 20 hours of school per month.
Right.
I'm going to repeat that stat. This is from a father. His 2 kids are in Albemarle County public school systems. I'm going to repeat this so everyone hears me clearly. Our buses are over an hour late, and some kids are missing 20 hours of school per month. Kids I coach are late to practice. We are turning our back on student wellness. Teachers are restricted from saying he or she in the classroom now.
Correct.
They cannot use the pronouns he or she. Kids cannot receive a failing grade.
That is true.
Homework does not apparently exist anymore, like Kelly is saying. Who really is driving this movement, and why is this okay? Everyone is complaining, and thank God Kelly Jackson has the courage to speak up. If we don't end this insanity right now, we're going to look back a year from now and consider today something to be really, really concerned about. Show us yours on that topic.
I agree with everything he's saying. Listen, the point of going to high school is to set kids up for success, whether that be they want to go to a trade school, whether they want to go to a traditional college, whether they want to become an entrepreneur, right? If we say to our young people, no matter what you do, you're not going to fail. What is that teaching them? How is that setting them up for success regardless of their career choice in the future? Even if you are a stay-at-home parent, which I consider also a job and a career.
Oh, maybe the hardest job.
Totally agree.
Yeah, unpaid. There was a study done. Lauren, are you watching the program here? She sent me this stat. It might have been done. Who did the study?
Oh, where they said how much stay-at-home parents should be paid?
A stay-at-home mom should make.
Yeah.
It was like $136,000.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, even if you are a stay-at-home parent, saying you're going to do nothing and you can't fail, or you don't have to put in any extra work to achieve something. I mean, and is Albemarle County the only one doing this, or is this across the United States? Right? Because if it's just kind of locally, when our kids, if they do choose to go to college, they're not going to have the study skills, right? They're going to be up against other students who have a higher advantage because of what their school provided.
Well said. Retired teacher watching, Heather Lamont Walker. She says the no homework limitations can circle back to 2012. She said in 2012, teachers were limited to assigning homework that did not take more than 20 minutes. This is something I'm confused about. Bill McKenzie, welcome to the program as well. If the private schools, your daughter's in third grade.
I think it's separating these children even more.
Okay, that's you read my mind. Go down that road.
Okay, so private school kids usually have an advantage.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Tell me why.
Okay, so their teachers get paid more, so they attract better talent, right? They have better computers. They have iPads in the classroom. They have better visual aids. They have better supplies. You know what I mean? I mean, the list could go on and on. But you're paying for that, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you would get something different if you're paying for something. A McDonald's hamburger is different than a filet mignon.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So, in general, I'm going to say the private school kids, a majority, have an advantage over the public school children.
Okay.
So, if public school is not doing homework, you can't fail a test, you can retake things as many times as you want, you can turn in things up to 2 weeks late and get full credit. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? Where the private school kids, things have to be turned in on time, you have to study, here's homework. They're going to leave their school with better life skills than the children in the public school.
Then why? Okay, challenging question for you.
Sure. Do you agree with that or no?
I think the infrastructure at private schools undoubtedly is more robust. I think the private schools managed COVID and the pandemic much more flawlessly than the public schools.
Because they could. They're smaller, so that's fair.
They were more nimble, and they were able to pivot, undoubtedly true. I think the private schools are not facing the challenges of getting kids to school on time like the public schools are doing.
Totally agree with that.
I think the private schools are not spending time on rebranding efforts when that money should be spent on paying bus drivers and teachers. I think the private schools have a foundation in place that could potentially create more success than what's currently set up in the public schools. But I don't want to turn our back on the public schools.
I love the public school.
She has one in public school. This is a perfect segue into a very tough topic.
Sure. My child is thriving at Monticello.
She's thriving at Monticello.
Thriving, yes.
Now, your child, I've had the pleasure of meeting her. She's a self-starter.
Yeah.
She's extremely bright. She's a self-starter. She's academically driven.
Yes.
So those are qualities that are not common in every child.
Correct.
So that is helping her thrive. You would agree?
Yes, but she loves it. She has straight A's. I think her GPA is like a 4.6 or 4.8.
When did GPAs be able to get that high?
Well, now they stopped it for this year.
Okay.
So, I mean, her class is, I think, the last class that has like the weighted GPAs because you get more points towards your GPA if you take an AP class.
Okay. Here's one I throw to you. This is a tough question. Okay. There is a voucher program that's being circulated. Are you following this?
Yes.
Where they're valuing a public school education. They're saying this public school education has a value of, I'm going to throw $13,000. And the idea, Arizona's approved this.
Okay.
Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, is big time in favor of this. The idea is parents, the value of your public school education, we're throwing a number out there, is $13,000.
Okay.
We will give you a check for $13,000 to help subsidize the cost of private school for you should you choose to pull your son or daughter. Can we call them sons or daughters now? Is that still allowed? Are sons or daughters still allowed?
I don't know.
I seriously, can we use sons or daughters anymore?
Sons, daughters, and children?
Okay, so are they children now, not sons and daughters?
I think children is
the
all
preferred,
encompassing.
So children is the preferred nomenclature now because we can't say he or she in the classroom anymore, right?
I think children.
Okay, so
how's your child?
Your child.
How's Sam? How's Kelly?
So the preferred nomenclature now is child.
I think so.
And not son or daughter, which I mean, my mind's being blown here. Okay.
I think that's inclusive.
Okay. Thank you. She's. Thank you for holding me accountable. Okay. What do you make of the voucher program?
But see, I think public schools also have an advantage over private schools solely based on the fact that they can offer a lot more different classes, right? They have more staff, so they can offer a wider range of classes, and they can offer honors classes and AP classes. So for academically driven children, I think Albemarle County is a great school to be at.
Okay.
And I think the public school or the private schools do not have as many options for AP honors classes.
Katie Pearl watching the program. I believe, Katie, you have 5 children. I believe in private, Katie. She says, to summarize what Kelly said, there are consequences in private schools which better prepares a student for the real world. And she said student is now the preferred nomenclature.
Okay, student.
Thank you very much for that, Katie Pearl. If Carol Thorpe, we'll get to your comment here. Kevin Yancey, we'll get to your comment here. If the voucher program becomes a reality in the Commonwealth.
Okay. Do you think it will?
I think it has a good chance.
Okay, but then there's not enough spaces in these private schools. I mean, they're not Covenant, Schwartz Catholic, Stab,
Charlottesville Day School.
Charlottesville Day School doesn't have, I mean, it's a great school.
It's to 8th grade, it's tiny.
Tiny, yeah.
Tandem. I would think that they would
expand
enrollment because they
yeah, but see, you go to private school
for the teacher-student ratio.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a very complex topic.
And then does it become even harder to get into private school because there's going to be so much more competition?
Yeah. I think that's.
And then does that separate people even more? Because then you have like the Harvard of the smartest kids in Albemarle all at these select few schools.
Dude, this is why she's on the show.
I don't know the answer.
No, but this is a great topic, and people are loving the topic here. So my fear with the voucher program is that the public schools become a system for students, not son or daughter, students, that don't have financial means. And it becomes this bastion of, unfortunately, lower income families where the voucher program is going to help the families that are, say, call it middle class,
right,
help cover the cost of tuition. Like, say, if it's St. Anne's Belfield, kindergarten, you're probably looking at $18,000, $19,000. Covenant, you're looking at probably like $14,000, $15,000. We're talking kindergarten.
Oh,
yeah, kindergarten.
I was
kindergarten. Lower rate for kindergarten.
Okay,
it goes higher as you get
It does
older.
go higher, Jerry, much higher.
Right, it goes higher as you go. I'm talking kindergarten entry point here. I'm just talking kindergarten, what I know here. Charlottesville Catholic is a little lower than Covenant and St. Anne's. Charlottesville Day School is in that area.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. That's what I'm saying. But like the voucher program may help that middle class family overcome that gap that perhaps was not there. And my fear is that then public schools become this like...
even bigger gap.
Okay, let's go down that road. What's on the brain over there?
No, well, first of all, what's the point of the voucher? Is it to somehow make the public schools less crowded? Is that it? The thought?
It's a political. It's a lot of things. It's a political ploy, partly. It's to help hold the public schools more accountable. It's what you said, maybe making the public schools less crowded. It's Youngkin's word, the governor's words, empowering the parents with choice.
Okay, well, listen, if the government, if Virginia wants to hand out money to people, then why don't you either A, put it back in the schools, or B, give it to the people who actually financially need help? Like, how about that? I mean, if it's free money, why are we putting it towards kids going to private school? Why don't we put it towards making the public school better?
Or why don't we, if the government's handing out money, why doesn't that money get allocated to the teachers and the bus drivers to improve the teacher talent, the teacher head count and the bus driver count, which would then keep the kids...
Yes.
Kids? Are we allowed to say kids? Can I say kids?
I think
I can say kids, right? Because that's not tied to... Anything.
Right.
So I could say kids, children, and students.
Correct.
But not boys, girls, sons, or daughters.
Correct.
Okay. I have to choose my words carefully.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kids would stay in the schools longer if there were more teachers, because that would make the teacher-student ratio better, and it could get the kids to school on time because there would be more bus drivers.
How about that?
Okay, so we're looking at this from a business owner, common sense standpoint.
Right.
Is that how you're looking at it?
That's exactly how I'm looking at it. And there's got to be solutions. Like, right? Jerry, we run into problems all the time in business, right?
All the time. That's literally my job. People say, like, you're a small business owner. Like, I am a small business. My job is putting out fires. Like, I'm a firefighter.
Right.
Metaphorical firefighter.
You're in the people business.
Yeah.
I'm not in the bread business. I'm in the people business.
Right. You put out fires left and right.
Yeah, right. I don't understand why they can't, the powers that be, I'm assuming the board, but again, assuming, how can there not be solutions? Okay, I have a gazillion solutions, Jerry. How about we get smaller buses? And that way the drivers don't have to have that...
CDL.
Yeah, have that license. Maybe we could pay them more, right? Maybe you, as a short term, not a long term, but as a short term solution, so kids aren't on the bus for 2 hours or, being late an hour, why don't half of the grade level go in person Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and online Tuesday, Thursday, and then flip-flop it the next week?
Do you think this is a really tough question.
Or change times.
Is the virtual school the remedy for this predicament? Because the virtual school solves...
I think virtual school hurt people, though.
I thought it hurt people, too. But the virtual school, let's play devil's advocate with each other, for sake of a talk show.
Okay.
Anyone who's watching this program realizes that I am not a huge fan of virtual school. You take the role of why virtual school hurts.
Yeah.
And solely for the take of the talk show, I'll say why it could help.
I think it could help and hurt.
Okay, there we go. Maybe that's the answer.
Right.
The virtual school would help the crowding issue. Mm-hmm. The virtual school would help the bus driver shortage issue and kids getting late to school on time.
Right.
You could potentially stagger the public school students, like you're saying, Monday, Wednesday, Friday 1 week, Tuesday, Thursday for another group. Then the following week, the kids that went Tuesday, Thursday go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the kids that went 3 days the previous week would go 2 days. And when they're not in school, they would learn virtually. Right. That would cut down on the bus routes. That would alleviate the overcrowding.
Right.
That would get the kids to school on time and home on time because there's less bus drivers needed to get less routes needed.
Right.
But the problem with the virtual school is learning and talking with somebody, and we had to do this during COVID. You had to do this with Women Changing Our World.
Yeah.
Doing an interview like this is completely different than doing an interview through a computer screen.
No, I think kids are lonely. I think it hurt them socially, learning social skills, social cues, especially for young kids, right? And I think kids who have mental health issues, that was an awful situation for them. And that's happening more and more. I mean, going off topic, but the mental health crisis in children here in Virginia, or Charlottesville alone, is outrageous.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what are you going to do? Leave your 10-year-old home by themselves all day?
Katie, okay, so a lot of comments are coming in. Katie says this, I pay taxes to a school system my child will never use. I would love control over where my child goes since I'm required to pay taxes either way.
Okay.
Well, it's okay to disagree. She doesn't mind if you disagree with her. Katie Pearl?
No, I just feel like, that's part of the community you live in. And, it's kind of, for me, I own a business, and I choose to give back to the community because I want to be a good member of the community. So even if I'm choosing not to use the school for my youngest, public school system, I am happy to help and support my neighbors and the other people in my community to make sure that their children get a good education.
Play devil's advocate with you.
Sure. I mean, I love money more as much as anybody else. I'd like to keep it, but I also feel a responsibility to participate.
You also, through very hard work, very smart decision making, have accrued some. So in perhaps a different position.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. So I'll throw this to you. This is a great question that's coming in. This is from Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey.
I love Waynesboro.
Me too.
Waynesboro's a great town.
We love Waynesboro as well. Kevin Yancey, we love when you watch the program. He says, you guys are crazy if you think St. Anne's would take voucher students over international boarding students that would pay more.
It depends if they get a tax credit. If it's beneficial to them somehow financially, I think any school would do it. A school's a business.
Yeah.
End of story.
School's a business. I agree with that. So, Cav, that's a good point. If there's some kind of tax credit or incentive from the government or the Commonwealth to admit voucher students that academically could qualify, I would not be surprised if you see voucher students at a greater clip in private schools. I agree with her take there. I want to get to Carol Thorpe.
Although I will say,
please,
STAB does an amazing job and with their financial aid. So not many, I don't know the exact number, and I wouldn't voice that anyway. You can look it up on their website. A majority of the students don't pay full price.
A third, this is on the website.
Okay.
A third of students financial aid at St. Anne's. A third.
That's a lot,
That's
though.
a lot. That's a lot. That's a very good point you just made there. Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe. Jerry, this is Carol Thorpe's word. Jerry, I'll be brave enough to say it if you read it. It's my thoughts and opinions. For those who don't want to make all of this political, I suggest you start reconsidering it. Who is driving this? Whose political agenda, philosophy, and influence in public education is largely in charge and running the show? It's not what we would call the political right. Start holding the Democrats accountable. That's from Carol Thorpe. You want to touch that at all? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I mean, I want to, but I'm not going to.
You sure?
I mean, I don't know who's making these decisions, right? I'm guessing the board. Are we assuming it's the board? Judah, is it the board?
School board is...
I'm going to say school board.
The school board, I'll put this in
perspective. And what's their agenda? Do they have a clear agenda that they've laid out for everybody?
Here's a problem that I have with the Albemarle County School Board. And you know what? I'm going to go to the Albemarle County School Board website.
Let's be factual, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Albemarle County School Board website, and I'm going to mention some names of school board members.
I'm sure I don't know anybody on there, but
I'm going to mention school board members by name. The school board members, I'm looking at the school board website.
And do they have any political ties? Do we know that?
That doesn't have on the website, but most of these ran unopposed. And I would say, Neil Williamson, you might be able to help me with this. Carol Thorpe, can you help me with this? Of the school board members who ran, would you say all of them are Democrat? Can you help me with this, Carol Thorpe or Neil Williamson? The school board members, you have Kate Acuff, Jack Jewett District, Katrina Coulson, Rio District, Judy Lee, Rivanna District, Graham Page, Samuel Miller District, that's your district, Ellen Osborne, Scottsville District, that's my district, David Oberg, Whitehall District, and the at-large rep is Yono Alcaro.
I'm sure they're all lovely people. This is not like a personal dig at any of them, right?
I think they're getting paid $500 a year to be on the school board.
So they're doing a community service.
They're doing a community service.
It's not that I don't...
Yeah. Here's the issue I have with the school board. And let's take Sutherland Middle School and Jack Jewett.
Okay.
I learned this from Vanessa Parkhill. Vanessa Parkhill, if you're watching, please let us know. At Sutherland Middle School, 57%, they surveyed the parents.
Okay.
And they said parents. The parents, can we say parents?
Yeah.
I can say parents?
I think so.
Okay, is parents okay?
I think so.
Parents.
Yes, I'm going to say it is.
Okay. Parents, do you want to change the Sutherland name? 57% of the parents at Sutherland, now Lakeview, 57% voted no. They also did this at
but I will say then, if it's offensive to 43%,
yep.
I think then it should be changed because of that many if it's offensive to that many people in the community where their children are going to school, I think you should at least take a pause.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's a fair comment. That's why she's on the show. I respect that. Vanessa Parkhill, Queen of Earlysville, we've dubbed her. I think we have media out there. Vanessa Parkhill said this: the numbers at Jack Jewett were not even close. 79.4% of parents at Jack Jewett voted to keep the name Jack Jewett. Then when the committee and administrators and school board decided to change the name anyway, they did not even go with the most popular name picked by the parents. Journey was the 4th out of 5 options offered. 4 out of 5. So not only did 79.4%...
Okay, no, if I say 79 wanted to keep it, then that's an over majority.
That's a dramatic amount.
Right. So then I think it's like, well, then you got to keep it.
79.4%.
And why bother polling people if you're not going to take the data and use it?
Okay. What is the point of the surveys if you're going to ignore the surveys?
If you're going to change it anyway, why bother?
Why the hell are we doing surveys if basically 80% of the parents at Jack Jewett said Jack Jewett should stay? They ignored the 80%, and then they didn't even pick the first choice the parents wanted, not the second choice the parents wanted, not the third choice the parent wanted, but they went with the 4th choice, Kelly.
Why don't they just say, we're changing the name, this is what it is?
Seriously.
How about that?
Is the survey just a political...
Yes.
Okay, what? Finish your thought. Finish my thought here.
No, it's just to appease and make you feel like...
You're part of it.
You're a part of it, and they heard you. They don't care. They didn't care what you had to say. Obviously, they didn't care what you had to say.
Exactly. Dude, moms and... Can I say moms and dads?
I think.
Is mom and...
I don't know. Parents.
Parents. God, I can't say sons or daughters. Moms and dads. I'm not even sure if I could say moms and dads anymore.
I think you can say moms, dads, and parents.
Moms, dads, and parents. How are you not frustrated by this? 80% of a school was surveyed. They ignored the 80%. They went with the, okay, I'll be exact, the 20.6% that said change Jack Jewett. And then they asked them, here's some names to consider, and they went with the 4th name. What the hell?
Whose time was wasted sending out this survey?
How much did the survey cost?
I think SurveyMonkey, it's free.
How about the opportunity cost of someone tallying the survey or rolling out the survey or considering the survey?
Formatting the survey.
I mean, writing in the fields of the survey.
Who holds the school board accountable? Community members?
Yeah. Us who
vote. So they don't report to anyone else, like anyone higher up in like a government.
The people who hold the school board accountable are the voters.
Okay. I didn't.
Interestingly, I would like to see this from the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, or I would like to see this from Albemarle County Board of Supervisor candidates.
Okay.
I would like to see Albemarle County Board of Supervisors and or Albemarle County Board of Supervisor candidates say this: we're not going to allocate the money to the Albemarle County school system until we see exactly how you're going to spend every single damn dollar.
Well, isn't that how a business works?
And I don't just want to see line items on a paper.
You want to see a full P&L.
I want to talk to the people. I want to have conversations on what if scenarios. I want to say, literally, you're not going to get the money from the Albemarle County taxpayers unless you talk to me about rebranding, you talk to me about curriculum, you talk to me about bus drivers, you talk to me about teacher pay, you talk to me about virtual learning, you talk to me about these survey results. Because right now that's not happening.
I think that's right.
And the reason this is meaning even more to me now is because my wife and I have a little boy that's about to go to kindergarten. So we're doing the digging and the deep dive into the curriculum, into the topics, because who do we love more in life?
No one than your children.
Than our children.
I mean, frankly, you usually love them more than your spouse most of the time.
I got no comment on that.
Your lovely wife, I'm sure.
She's watching right now.
But listen, Albemarle County has great assets. And I guess the point is, it could be better. Better choices could be being made.
And that's all we're trying to do here. We're not trying to throw shade.
No.
We just want it to be better.
Okay, be better. And I think in trying to make the public school system more equitable, even, fair.
All words apply.
Right? Unfortunately, I think it's going to have an adverse effect.
How so?
Right. Let's just take the homework thing, right? If you're not grading homework or kids aren't being held accountable, the kids that are self-motivated are going to do the outside of the classwork regardless of if it's graded or not. Mm-hmm. The kids who might need a kick in the pants like you did, they're not going to do it, and then they're going to fall more behind. So the motivated kids are going to become even more motivated, higher GPAs, higher college acceptance, all those things. Where the other children who might need more support or more practice or more help or more motivation are going to keep falling off the cliff. Right?
KJ's dropping knowledge on the program here.
Do you agree?
No, I do.
So in the spirit of making everything more fair and equal, I think it's actually causing more of a division.
The gap between private and public is as wide as I've ever seen it. And the value proposition for private right now is as strong as it's ever been. And that's not just me saying that. We've had Lee Elberson, the chief executive officer of Claiborne Education, a tutoring company that works with private and public school kids, literally say those exact words on this program. I mean, literally he said these words on this program. A lot of comments coming in for KJ here. I want to get to this list before we get to the comments here. That way we're not missing anything. Okay. Talk to me about clubs.
Oh, okay. So not all kids are athletic. You've met my daughter. I'm going to say she's not very athletic.
Okay.
So they have these things in public schools that they're called clubs, and they meet once a month for like an hour. Once a month? How is that a club? Right? Like, that's not really a club. I wish they had more academically focused or art or something after school activities, not just having the main focus on sports.
Kevin says public schools should consider going back to smaller neighborhood schools.
I love that.
Talk to us about that.
I went to a neighborhood school, right? Like everyone walked to school. They're smaller buildings, smaller teachers.
Less bus driver issue?
You didn't have a bus driver because you could walk.
Oh, my God.
But I like that idea. That's a good idea.
This comment comes in. Albemarle County public school system are putting kids in steel containers buses for up to 3 hours a day. Most of these steel containers have no air condition. We are teaching our kids to simply deal with failures of the adults we are asking them to aspire to be. Kevin says this is a fraud. No way the majority of children have any sense of wellness right now. This is a father of two talking. Albemarle County Public School System, father of two. How can these kids learn anything? We are asking them to stay in a hot bus that is equivalent to a flight to Phoenix every single day. Phoenix, Arizona. Great analogy.
Do you know the Albemarle or the elementary school children in my neighborhood? Guess what time their bus comes and picks them up?
What time?
6:45.
6:45? When are they dropped off?
I think 8:30.
Stop.
8:15, 8:30. They're first graders.
First graders are getting home?
And guess what time they get home? 4. I think school ends at like 2:50, right?
So they're getting picked up at 6:30, 6:45,
yeah.
And they're returning home after 4.
Yeah.
And in first grade, you are 5?
Yeah.
5 or 6?
5 or 6.
Dude, parents, we got to have a problem with that, parents. This comment's coming in. The voucher program puts the power back into the hands of each individual parent to decide with their tax dollars what is truly best for their child. Parent discretion is a better decider than a zip code. My understanding is that if my child is not enrolled in the public school does not receive my child's school tax funds. But if there is a voucher, I can use my child's school tax funds that the public school isn't getting anyway to send my child to my preferred private school, which I believe is the best interest of my child for a plethora of reasons.
But then think, okay, let's take that. So therefore, less money is going into the public school system, right?
Public school system, funding from the Commonwealth is based on enrollment. She's right.
Okay, so less kids are going to be enrolled. Therefore, the public school system is going to get less money, right? And if you want to keep your tax dollars, it's also less money. So now the public schools, it's not going to help the public schools. It's going to make the public schools even worse.
This is a snowball effect.
Right?
It is undoubtedly a snowball effect. She is absolutely right here. Okay, I'm going to ask you to do this.
Okay.
How many team members do you have working for your organization?
I don't know, 600 maybe?
600?
Let's say 600.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number, but let's say 600.
Can Carol...
I'm sure we're more than that.
Carol Thorpe or Katie Pearl or Kevin Yancey or Kevin Higgins or Scott Arworth or many of the fine folks watching this program, maybe Rosemary, how many employees, I might be able to Google this, how many employees...
I'm sure my dad's watching. Rick, how many employees do we have?
How many employees in the Albemarle County public school system?
I don't know.
Let me see if I can figure that out. Can someone
I thought
find that out?
Me.
I wanted to ask you because I know you have a ton. How many employees are in the Albemarle County public school system in totality? Can someone tell me that number, text me that number, DM me that number? Dude, she's got over 600 in hers, so she understands how to manage a hell of a lot of people. You put the superintendent's cap on. Little pressure here.
Okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't want that job, and I'm happy that someone does have it. I'm glad it's not me.
Dr. Jackson. Dr. Jackson.
I love that.
Dr. Jackson could very well be your oldest daughter. Your
Probably
eldest.
will be.
Can I say daughter?
Yeah, she is a girl.
Okay, can I say?
So you could say daughter.
Okay. Her eldest child wants to be a doctor.
Yeah, since she was like 4.
Since she was 4 years old. So she very well could be Dr. Jackson. In this scenario, you're Dr. Jackson, the superintendent.
Okay.
What's your action plan to fix this? Point by point by point by point. You can take a moment to think about it if you like.
There's so many problems. Where do you start?
Where do you start?
All right.
Where do you start?
I think getting the kids to school is the most important.
On time.
On time. Right?
Get them to school on time.
Just get them to school. So I would fix that first.
Okay, I'm with you.
I would either fix it by upping the pay of bus drivers to entice more people to do it. I would maybe purchase some smaller buses that other people could drive and not have to have that license. I would incentivize parents who are able to drive to carpool, and whether that means the county pays them per which way they drive, right? I think that could incentivize some parents and people, at least pay for the gas, right? So I'd get the kids to school first and foremost.
Thank the Lord. Yes, well said.
And then I would focus on teachers and giving teachers the power to teach in their own classroom, right? Within reason, but yeah, I would give the power back to the teachers. We have great teachers. They're smart. Why are people who are not teachers making decisions for teachers?
Okay, I'll throw this to you. What is the role of parents, not mom and dads, but parents? What is the role of parents when it comes to their child's education? This was a key component of the McAuliffe-Youngkin governor race.
I think you got to make the best decisions for your child. Like for mine, public school is the best education specifically for my oldest child and what her academic needs are. Currently, my youngest academic needs are being met at a private school, where in the public school system, I don't think she would be getting the academic needs she needs. So,
is the parent overextending themselves when it comes to their children and education?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't even understand.
We have to set these kids up for success.
Yeah.
Right? What do they say? The future's the children, or something, some sort of saying like that, right?
This comment's come in. This is a good comment. Kids are in car seats forever now. How do we carpool when they have to be in car seats for so long? That's a great question.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Lug 20 booster seats around.
Dude, and those seats are so freaking heavy.
Oh my God, I agree. That's a great comment. I didn't even think about that, frankly.
That's a great comment.
But then if they have to be in car seats in the car, why the hell don't they even have to wear a seatbelt on a bus?
Oh, dude, how about that question for the car seat commenter? Okay, that's a great question about the car seats. How long, is it a weight limit now? I think it's a weight limit for the car seats.
And then you go to booster seat.
Yeah, then you go to booster seat. Can someone put in the feed what the weight limit is?
And it's how your feet are. Your feet have to be, you have to be fully set back in the seat, and your feet have to be able to be completely flat on
the floor?
Yeah.
Is Rory out of car seat? Is she in a booster seat?
No.
Okay, when did she get out? Is Rory tall for her age?
She's very tall.
Okay, she's tall for her age?
She's 4'7".
Okay, and that's a third grader?
Yeah.
So she's like the tallest in her class?
One of them, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so.
She weighs like 78 pounds.
How about an average height kid, moms and dads that are watching, average height kid? How long is it a weight limit? How long does what is the weight limit?
Height and weight, I think.
It's height and weight. And then the booster seat question. And then the follow-up to this is, for everybody that's watching, why do the kids have to be in the car? Kids? I can say kids. Okay, kids. Why do the kids have to be in the car seat for so long and the booster seat for so long, but the kindergartner can ride in a school bus without a seatbelt on? Seriously. Can someone explain that to me?
Right? I don't know. I never really understood that.
Can anyone that's watching this program offer some insight on that, please?
Is anyone watching, do any of their kids go to the Charlottesville City School? And is City School following what Albemarle County schools are doing, or is it different?
That's a great question. Charlottesville City parents, are you watching, and can you jump in and offer perspective for us? I got a question that's holding us accountable here.
Okay.
A comment.
Why not?
Okay. This comment, very straightforward.
Okay.
It says, you all, me included, using the B word here.
To me?
No.
Oh.
No, like us saying complaining. I'll just read it in context here.
Okay.
There's no, this isn't the radio or TV, so we have a little bit more liberties here. He says,
I'm not offended easily.
He says, y'all bitch about pickup and drop off times, but y'all can't drive to a job on time in a lot of the county. How do you expect the buses to do that? I'm going to counter that comment.
Wait, I don't even get what it's saying.
He's saying, we're bitching about the kids not being able to get to school on time, but the people with jobs can't get to work on time. My counter to that is, I'm not late to work.
I'm not late to work.
I'm early to work. This man, Judah Wickower, our director, shows up to work on time, if not early, every single day. Are you late to work?
Early is on time.
Early is on time. I was trained when I was growing up that if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late.
Correct. Listen, if someone...
And you have 600 plus employees.
If someone shows up late for an interview...
They don't get hired.
Absolutely not. I expect them to be there 5 minutes prior to the interview time. Is my expectation. That's my expectation. Because if you really want the job, you're going to make the effort and be there. Who's being late for work? Yeah. The person who said that. Are you late for work? Why are you late for work?
Why are you late for work? And he's saying traffic. He's saying traffic in all capitals.
How about leave earlier?
I mean, that seems like the answer to me.
If your commute's taking you longer than you expected, maybe you wake up 10 minutes earlier so then you can leave 10 minutes earlier. I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, that's an easy solution.
Right. That is not an excuse for me that the traffic and parents can't get to work on time, so we can't hold the bus drivers.
But maybe he's trying to say, if my kid doesn't get picked up till late, I can't leave my kid at home by themselves to get on the bus. So therefore, I'm waiting, and now I'm late to work.
Oh, I mean, that's different. I don't think, and that's a great point that you just said right there. I hadn't even considered that. I don't think that is what he's alluding to.
I mean, I'm not going to leave my kindergarten. I don't have a kindergarten. If I had one, I'm not going to leave my 5-year-old home alone when the bus is late. So then now I have to go to work, and then I'm going to be held accountable. That I didn't think of until now.
That's a great point. How many parents are in that predicament? Dude, that is I hadn't even thought about that.
Neither, until now.
And maybe it's because we're fortunate in that we're the employer.
Right.
How many of the moms and dads? How many of the parents? How many of the parents are late to work, risking their employment, creating beef with their employer, risking vertical potential?
Correct, right?
Because they're late to work, because their child, their most important aspect of their life, can't get on a school bus on time because the drivers are late. And the cause and effect of this is what? Wealth gap widens and expands even more.
Yep, because now people don't have jobs. because they get fired because they're late.
Or they're not, or they're passed over for promotions because they're late.
Yep.
And the parents go to work and say, the bus was late. I'm not going to leave my kid on the side of the road. I side with parents on that. So do you.
Oh, I do too. What are you going to do when it's snowing? What are you going to do when it's raining? You're going to leave your 6-year-old standing outside in the rain and with no parent at home? And do you know what? Legally, if something happened to your child, you're not allowed to leave that child alone. And so if something happened to that child, guess what? You'd be in jail.
Right.
Truth.
That's truth. Facts. Suad Kisaki. I hope I'm getting your name right, Suad Kisaki. I'm going to get to your comment here in a matter of moments. It's a very good one here.
You have to be 10 to be left alone by yourself.
10 years old.
And for a short period of time.
But I'm seeing kids younger than 10.
Well, if something happens to their kid, if their house
on the
burns
side
down,
of the road, waiting for the bus by themselves.
Yeah.
This is a great comment, and I want to emphasize this. I would imagine this bus shortage predicament is going to worsen when it's 20 degrees outside and freezing cold. I would say 20 degrees or 15 degrees and freezing cold are worse conditions than some 90 degrees and humidity.
How about this? How about when we have weather?
Oh, go down this road. Show us yours.
Right?
It's a great one, please.
Okay. It's icy. We get ice here in Virginia. Last winter was awful, right? So the buses are going to have to go slower, right? There's going to be roads that these buses can't go down. Buses are going to get cold and break down. They're going to get in accidents. Then what happens? Right? And then you have half the students at school and half the students not at school? How does that work?
Suzanne Daly watching the program. Suzanne Daly, I made this point earlier in the week. That was a great point, KJ. Suzanne Daly made this point. Dr. Matthew Haas has a CDL.
Why isn't he driving a bus?
I made that point earlier in the week. Someone mentioned to me that it was the word was vendetta that I had with him. It is not a vendetta.
Listen.
It's not a vendetta. My kid is
He's running a business. I run a business, you run a business. If I walk into one of my Paneras and we're short-staffed, guess who's taking out the trash and wiping tables? This lady. Right?
Amen.
That's the responsibility you bear.
Right. I'm seeing Charlottesville City Superintendent walking with the kids to and from school.
Why their job?
It's his job. If there's not enough bus drivers, the Charlottesville superintendent should be walking to and from school with the kids to get them to school, and he is legitimately doing that.
And make sure they're safe. But he's getting paid to do that.
It's his job. The number one job for the people in the schools is to get the kids to school. You can't have school if your kids can't get to school.
Correct.
This is so obvious, like you need oxygen to breathe. This comment's come in. Get ready for this one.
Okay. Oh, no.
This is from, oh my God, there's so many coming in here, KJ. Suad Kisaki. I hope I'm saying this right. Enforcing the seatbelts on school buses would be impractical, but even worse, many younger children may struggle to get themselves out of the belt in the rare event of a serious crash, meaning they are unable to escape through an emergency exit without additional help. That's a good comment.
I mean, I think that's a good. But also, if you're in a serious crash and your kid doesn't have on a seatbelt, let's hope they're still in their seat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
Philip Dow, the king of Scottsville. I was always at work 1 hour before work started.
Right? That's where you are, right? Where you are.
Dr. Royal Gurley is the superintendent of Charlottesville City Schools, the newly minted superintendent. And Dr. Royal Gurley can legitimately be seen in Charlottesville City walking with children in the early morning hours, helping them get to school like Venable Elementary. I swear to God, I've seen it firsthand.
But because they don't have any buses,
I give
don't
him
think,
props
do they?
and kudos. They're in a worse situation.
Bus-wise.
A worse situation. Now, what Charlottesville City has that Albemarle County does not have is it's got smaller routes because it's 10.2 square miles to city, where Albemarle County is more vast.
Yeah.
So they have more ground to cover.
Yeah.
Which is making the situation worse in Albemarle. Which, I mean, we feel for them here.
And the bus drivers are trying their hardest, and they're frustrated.
Dude, the bus drivers make like 17 Gs.
Right.
17 to 18 Gs to deal with hellions that aren't their own in a crowded bus, overworked.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're lovely people. Every bus driver we've had is salt of the earth.
I stand by the bus drivers and the teachers. I got no shade thrown at the bus drivers and teachers. I want to emphasize this again here. The bus drivers are being paid less than 20 G's to drive our children around, okay?
Our most important assets.
Yeah. It's like the EMTs are some of the lowest paid people out there, the EMTs, and their job is to come to accidents and save lives.
Do you know what? Listen, I'm fortunate enough, I would be willing to pay for my child to ride the bus. Right? I'd be willing to pay for that. I don't know, $1 there, $1 back, $2 a day. I'd pitch in for that. Right? And if people that financially can't afford it, that shouldn't be a requirement so the kid can't ride the bus. But if you're financially in a good place.
That's an interesting idea. So is your suggestion, Albemarle County School Board, perhaps crowdsource parents and see if you do like a GoFundMe to get money to pay drivers more?
Sure.
And solve the predicament?
I'd pitch in. Sure.
I mean, hell, we would probably do like a telethon, or Panera would probably, I don't want to speak for you, like a campaign.
Sure, I'd be happy to help.
Right, same with me, same with us. I definitely don't mean to speak for you here,
No,
but
yeah.
I know her well enough that she is committed to the community. Committed to the community here.
Or could we use it like people that can't afford it, they have like a bus card, right? Like public bus system. Those that fall into another financial category, they get charged like school lunch. Like same process as school lunch. For some children, it's free. For some children, you pay the $3.25 or $3.75, whatever.
Subsidized.
There you go.
Let me throw this to you. What do you make of students riding Charlottesville-Albemarle Transit, public transportation, to and from school?
What grades?
I'm seeing it as young as 2nd and 3rd grade.
No.
Anywhere you want to go on that topic?
I don't think it's safe.
That's happening now.
With adults?
No.
Oh, just children.
The children are getting on Charlottesville-Albemarle Transit.
Okay.
2nd and 3rd grade.
But are other adults in the community also on the bus?
Other adults are riding the public transportation. No. Not the parents of the kids. Just like other adults that ride CAT.
You don't know if Joe Schmo is a weirdo. And who then, if something happens to your child on that bus, who's then held accountable? Is it you as a parent because you let it happen? Is it the school? Is it public transit? Eventually, unfortunately, I'm sure something will happen.
Guys,
right?
I feel the same way, man. I had this conversation with my wife. It would be...
My 8-year-old's not riding a public transit without me.
By herself.
No.
That's happening now.
But do you know what? Isn't that awful? Because the
parents have to work.
Right. So the parents are put in such an awful position. They have to get to work so they can make money to put food on the table, right? So that's not an option not to go. And then they're also having to sacrifice the safety of their child to get an education? That's effed up.
Dude, for real. For real. Lauren, maybe there should be a drop zone at the school with a chaperone so working parents can get to work on time and kids are safe. Or open one classroom early and have a teacher or parent volunteer.
I'd be happy to volunteer.
Great comment right there.
That is a great comment.
After school programs, people want your take on that. After school programs are now in shambles.
They are.
Are you hearing about this?
I said that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's on my list. I said that.
Give us the take.
There aren't any. If it's sports or nothing. My child does one after school thing once a week. There's no consistent program for after school. Okay, so Jerry, let's say the bus can't pick you up, right? School doors don't open till 8:50, and they're locked at 4. What job can you work from 9:30 to 3:30?
It's difficult to find a job like that.
I'm going to say I can't even think of a job. You work from 9:30 to 3:30. So I agree. Open the schools earlier and have after school things till 5:30.
Now, is the challenge with the after school not enough staff for personnel to stay after school? I mean, eventually, dude, I am sympathetic and empathetic to their plight. Jamie Schwartz is watching. She's got a comment.
Jamie, I love her.
Jamie Schwartz is the owner of Picasso Swig. She says, we're going to start an after-school art program at Picasso Swig.
Love that. But how are the kids going to get there?
Great idea. Jamie, that's a question for you. Jamie Schwartz is an entrepreneur, a talented one. We encourage you to
amazing.
consider Picasso Swig. Picasso Swig. The question we have for you, Jamie, how are the kids going to get from the school to your phenomenal business right here off the downtown mall?
It's great.
And the
I
glass
love it.
building behind Salt and Kebab.
Yep.
How will they get transported to Picasso Swig, where they undoubtedly will get intelligence, value, and socialization at your business? How will they get there? Is your idea, Jamie, to have a shuttle service? I mean, there's a karate or a jiu-jitsu dojo on Pantops that has a shuttle service.
Oh, they do, because they pick the kids up at Covenant.
They pick the kids up at
Yeah.
schools and they
That's
van
smart.
them.
That's a smart business
Yeah,
idea.
that is a smart business idea. Okay, here's another idea. Oh, geez, this is coming to us on the fly. This is the entrepreneurs coming out.
I know, I love it.
Is Andre Xavier and John Craig have CVille Hop-On Tours? Is there now a business that can be created?
Why not?
Privatization of transportation for children?
Yes, I'm loving where we're going. Why can't neighborhoods pitch in, hire the hop-on bus?
There you go. Andre Xavier, you watching? Someone tag Andre Xavier or John Craig CVille Hop-On Tours. I would imagine the CVille Hop-On Tour bus, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
It's not very crowded.
It's probably not being utilized.
Oh, people are, hold on, here we go.
Would you agree with me that?
Yes!
Monday through Friday, who's going on a bus? Okay, some people may be going on a boost.
I mean, maybe you and I.
Monday through
we
Friday.
are the minority.
Yeah. Who is going on the CVille Hop-On Tours Monday through Friday from 6 to 8:30 a.m.?
Right.
Can private business solve this predicament? KJ, show is yours on that topic.
I'm going to say yeah. No, but then again, then it's going to be not fair. Because the rich neighborhoods who can afford to hire the private bus to take their kids to school, their kids will get to school on time.
Play devil's advocate with you.
But if the bus doesn't have to come to that
There it
neighborhood,
is.
then everyone gets to school on time.
Because there's less demand for the public school buses, alleviating the crunch on the routes, than helping the other neighborhoods get to school on time.
I feel like we've just solved the Albemarle County bus system.
Can
solution.
private business solve this problem? CVille Hop-On Tours, Andre Xavier and John Craig, if they ran their buses, wouldn't that be crazy? A bus wrapped in booze branding, dropping off kids at the elementary school?
I mean,
it solves the problem.
I pay for that.
It solves the problem.
Let's say it's $20. Okay, if it's a neighborhood, I'm just going to take. Okay, you live in. I won't say where you live.
Yeah.
But you live in a.
Eastern Albemarle County.
Okay, in a large neighborhood.
Okay.
People could afford to hire a private bus.
Yes. And with a neighborhood of like 850 rooftops, of course not all 850 have kids going to school. Let's just say like 20%. I'm going to do some quick math here on my phone. 850 times 0.2 is 170 rooftops.
There you go.
170 rooftops kicking what? How much a month? 100 a month?
Yeah.
100 a month?
Yeah.
Okay, I would pay $100 a month.
Me too.
So $100 a month, that's $17,000 times, let's call it, how many months is a school year? Is it 9?
9.
Times 9? That's $153,000. Andre and John.
That could buy you a new bus.
Here's Andre and John. Here's $153,000
For one person.
You're not using the bus. You're not using the bus right now. Okay, you're not using the bus during the week. Okay,
Jerry.
That right there that's a business.
That's one bus.
That's one bus
For one job.
for one neighborhood. $153,000.
I bet you can find a bus driver, and you pay them.
You kick the bus driver a third.
Give him $50,000.
Give them 50 G's. You got $100K left. You're going to have to pay taxes on that. Remember, this is incremental revenue because the buses are parked
Already
at this
there.
time anyway.
Right.
They're not being utilized, and they get the branding exposure of having the buses on the road.
Yeah, but they get a tax write-off.
They get the tax write-off. Dude.
Andre, we solved it.
Andre and John Craig.
Or who makes the buses? I mean, that's a business idea we could frankly start.
There you go.
Why don't we buy our own buses?
That right there. Anybody have a beef? Kevin, Yancey, you oftentimes try to poke some holes into what I'm saying here. What would be the problem of private business whisking and transporting the, can I say children? I can say children.
Yeah, students.
What would be the problem of the private businesses, private
Because then
bus
it would
fleets?
relieve the public school system and then help the people that couldn't afford it.
And the
I
private
don't see
business
it-
would make money.
Yeah.
They'd get the branding
Listen,
out.
if I'm going to make 153, I will buy myself a bus
Yeah.
And I will drive it for you, Jerry.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do my conference calls on the road.
But Rosemary, Ma Dukes is running. Ma Dukes is watching. That's her ma. She goes, "You two need to run for school board."
No,
That's
thank
what
you.
she said right there. Rosemary, we love you, Rosemary.
Rosemary's the best.
I'm going to say, hold on, let me take Rosemary. I'm highlighting her name.
Do you think that's a good idea, Judah?
We love you! Exclamation point. Let's get the Jack of all wits on the show. Three shot. Jack of all wits.
Jerry, I think, why don't we propose that?
That's a great freaking idea. Does anybody have a problem with that idea?
$100 a month? So it's nice. So you're paying $900 a year.
$100 a month per household. That's $900. That's $900 a year. You're saying your kid. Jesus, I'm getting a lot of text messages about this idea.
I know, I was getting a lot too.
Your kid, instead of your kid spending hours a day on the side of a road or in a hot bus, they can ride on a hop-on-tour bus that's dope.
And it stops at the individual house.
Yep.
You don't have to walk to the corner.
No bus stop.
No bus stop.
It goes to the house, keeps kids at home longer, really helps in inclement weather. The CVille Hop-On Tours buses drives the children to and from school. The buses aren't being used for booze cruises at that time of day or during the week. They charge $100 a house if you want pickup, $100 a month. $100 a month.
Yeah.
You're going to have a baseline.
And they already have the insurance. Hop-On Tours already has the insurance for those.
They already have the CDL drivers.
Right.
They already have the CDL
They already have it
drivers.
all.
They have it all. They have all the infrastructure in
Do
place.
we get a cut if this happens?
Dude, if this Travis Hackworth and Danville, $100 a month isn't bad, especially considering what people are paying for dance classes like us. Kevin Higgins says, my visa is in my hand. I'm ready to pay money right now. Stacy says, Jesus, give me a chance to make this happen. My kid is spending 3 hours waiting for a bus. Spencer is watching the program.
Okay,
I will pay $100 a month for this, no problem right now.
Okay.
That right there is a business.
Okay, how about this? Who...
The background checks for drivers have already happened, Neil Williamson, by the CVille Hop-On Tours. They're already doing the background checks before they're hired.
That would have been my question.
And Xavier and Craig are already doing that. The background checks are already happened. They got the CDLs, they got the backgrounds, they got the buses, they got the air conditioning on the buses.
Yeah.
The buses are not being utilized. They got heat.
They're clean.
They're dope. They're clean.
They don't break down.
They don't break down.
I believe they've got snacks as well.
They don't. It would alleviate. They got snacks as well. Dude, that's a freaking business. Who wants to launch that business? Andre, Xavier, John Craig, fill that niche right now, and you will walk on water, take 3 loaves of bread and a couple of fishes, and feed the hundreds.
And you can take Jerry and I out to a very nice meal or
Yeah.
free Hop-On Tours for a year.
I'm not even going to ask for a royalty on your
We're
gross
asking
revenue.
for free Hop-On Tours.
I'm not going to ask for a royalty on your gross revenue. Andre and John, we're going to ask for 2 Hop-On Tours per month for a 12-month period of time. For how many people do you want?
2.
Okay, you and your husband, me and my wife.
Perfect.
There we go.
That's all we want.
We just want 2 Hop-On Tour rides per month for 12 months, Andre and John. We just gave you a business that will gross you, I bet you, $1 million.
Listen, yeah.
I bet you it'll gross $1 million.
Okay, so I'm thinking of neighborhoods. Of people who go to public
Okay,
school.
let's rattle them off.
Yeah. Mosby Mountain.
Okay, Mosby Mountain.
Tons of kids.
Glenmore. Redfields.
Yep, for sure, Redfields. Whittington.
Oak Hill, Whittington, Lake Renovia, Foxcroft, Mill Creek. Avinity, Avon Park. Those are Southside neighborhoods. Keswick Estates.
How about who's downtown?
Yeah, North Downtown. Belmont. Rugby. Meadowbrook. Rose Hill. I'm running. Dude, there's so many neighborhoods. That's just off the top of my head. That right there is a freaking business that grosses $1 million in its first year.
And all you need is 17 kids per bus, right?
Yeah.
17 kids per bus?
Yeah. Judah, jump in here. 3 shot. Let's get the Jack of all wits. What do you see?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a solution where none has been proposed yet, and I'm all for it.
Okay, you can fit how many kids in a Suburban? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 kids. Let's do the math on that. 7 kids in a Suburban.
You have one, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I have a Yukon Denali.
Okay.
But I can fit that many people. So 7 kids. If you pay $100 a month, 7 kids, so that's $700 a month, right? 700 times 9 is what?
700 times 9 is what? 9 times 7 is $6,300. 700 times 9 is $6,300.
Oh, so Suburban would.
The bus.
It's gotta be a bus.
How many? Jamie, do you know this answer? Andre, are you watching? Andre Xavier, are you watching right now? How many kids? Neil Williamson. It's better than the alternative. Neil and Neil's going to be on the show on Friday. Real Talk at 10:15.
Neil didn't like it.
So no, he's not. He's just playing devil's advocate with this. And we love that. We love that. He says, so the poor kids end up on the school bus. That's what he said.
It's better than no bus.
It's better than the kids being late to school. Is it not?
Yeah.
And overcrowded. You know some kids are having to sit in the aisles of the buses?
Yeah.
The aisles of the buses on the ground.
Right. Judah, jump in here.
There's always going to be somebody complaining that something's not fair, or there's,
Life isn't fair.
This is a solution. I mean,
this is a legit solution.
It's like if the only solution is bringing everyone down to the lowest possible level, how is that a solution?
Well said.
That's what. Well, yeah. Hence the grading. You can't fail in Albemarle County because it's not fair.
Neil. I'm going to play devil's advocate with that comment. And I love Neil Williamson. He's the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. Neil Williamson is a great all-around guy. Well-hung vineyards. He's a part owner of that. His restaurant in Gordonsville's banging. His vineyard is banging. Support the Free Enterprise Forum. Neil Williamson, you're a housing advocate. You say more housing for everyone, everywhere for everyone. And when Mayor Nakia Walker would routinely shoot down housing because she said the housing is what people cannot afford, Neil Williamson would make the point, hey, if you have more housing, it creates a trickle-down effect because the expensive housing is going to be filled by people, which then would open up the housing at the rung right below it, and the rung right below it, and the rung right below that.
I think that's brilliant.
Okay, it's the same thing as buses.
Correct.
If you get more buses out there, and yes, it costs money to ride those buses. And yes, folks with money will get on those buses over the school buses. But that is going to create and alleviate the crunch of transportation. It's the same analogy for housing. So Neil, and I love you, homie. I give you chest bumps. I give you fist bumps. You cannot say more housing everywhere for everyone, even it's expensive housing, and then also say that the CVille Hop-On Tours idea does not work because it costs money.
What other business has buses? What other business has buses besides Hop-On?
What other businesses have buses besides Hop-On? I mean, Greyhound does.
You've got...
Oh, we have a Greyhound. Why don't they could do Greyhound buses?
Greyhound
does.
Inns. What's that?
You've got inns.
Yeah. The English Inn has a bus.
Farmington has a bus.
Yeah.
They take it to football games.
There's Glenmore has a bus.
Why doesn't Glenmore use their bus?
As a shuttle, they have 15. That's a good question. I'm not sure. People are loving this concept. I'm seeing multiple people saying, get the visa out. Somebody tag John Craig and Andre Xavier. I see them watching. Dude, you guys got a business right here. You already have the fleet of buses.
It's brilliant. I would sign up.
Katie Pearl says this. This is the exact same thing with the private school vouchers. How is this being missed? Private businesses relieving the public school system, kind of like the private school voucher program. The same thing. It's very similar. She's making a good point.
Else? Andre, if you wanted to even make more money, depending, you wouldn't have to use all your buses. Get the kids after sports. Get the kids after sports.
Andre, we're not even going to ask for a percentage of your gross sales.
And if you could take the kids home from football games at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, that would be nice as well. And I would also pay for that. It's like kid Uber.
All we want in return is 2 Hop-On tours a month for 12 months. That's
they can expand that hugely.
Yeah. And dude, when I'd be on the Hop-On tours for 12 months, I'd be freaking putting it all over I Love CVille.
Yes.
Getting him more business.
Agreed.
I love when you come on the show.
I love being there.
90 minutes in, I just looked at the clock for the first time. I love when Kelly Jackson comes on the show. Dude, we just came up with... Judah, remember everyone's asked us on the talk show to come up with a legitimate solution? A legitimate solution that is just not throw taxpayer dollars at the program, at the problem?
I mean, my solution is carpools. I don't know why that hasn't been a thing yet, because carpools have been...
Well, because people have to get to work.
Yeah, but not everybody... go to the downtown mall any day of the week. There are people that are not working 9 to 5. And they're not all tourists.
Right, but like for me, I couldn't drive my kid because by the time I drop one off, I can't get home in time to get the next one.
No, I understand. But
the school carpool issue also has this predicament. chairs, the booster seats,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
car seats.
Yeah.
What is that?
So like my wife, we're fortunate that she's able to stay home, and my wife is like hugely hearted. She's a big heart for people, and she would gladly drive around and pick up people's kids. The problem is,
You can't put in and out of the car seats.
yeah, you would then have to take the car seats and put them in the cars. You
And then
see
if
what I'm
that
saying?
parent needs to go pick up the kids, how are they getting the car seats back?
And these car
What,
seats, exactly.
what ages are these kids?
Well, dude, the car seat and the
Through,
booster
like,
seat thing
first-
it's pretty
second
deep.
grade? First grade, second grade?
It depends on height and weight.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
but you guys mentioned before that that creating a pressure valve, so to speak, would alleviate problems with the school buses. So what if older kids had had parents pooling together in carpools, taking them to school, providing the pressure valve for the buses, allowing more of them to get around to less houses.
the car
Because the
that's-
schools don't start all at the same time.
and
I-
that's right. And the carpool situation also prioritizes very much the stay-at-home parent.
Right.
Where like the private business scenario, and I love your idea. I'm not knocking your idea. I'm not trying to throw shade at your idea by any means. The private business scenario is literally go to entrepreneurs and hey, here's a bucket of money. Do you want them? Do you
Yeah.
want it? Where like the carpool idea is relying on free labor, where like the hop-on tours idea is, here's a chance to make $1 million of incremental revenue that you didn't have on your books before.
Right.
And any entrepreneur is going to be like, okay, let me figure this out. Right?
That's great for whoever's making the money. I'm not sure.
I mean,
I'm not sure how
It's
that's,
great for the
I'm not sure-
parents.
I'm not sure.
It's great for the kids.
It's great for the parents that they're paying money.
Yeah, their kid is staying on the side of the road waiting for a bus.
In the
spending
rain.
hours. The parent is pissed.
No, I get it. But
I would pay $100 a month for my kid
Easily.
to ride a bus
Safely.
safely. No, go ahead. Finish your thought. We're not trying to cut you off here.
I mean,
This
I
is
was-
why Judah's
I was-
on the show. Bull and the bear.
I was talking about carpools though, and I'm not sure how you're not explaining a reason why that's a bad thing.
Because when you rely on a free scenario, you get results that are associated with free.
Right. Because you're supposed to drive the carpool and you wake up, now you got COVID.
Yeah, I'm supposed to drive the carpool.
My car broke down.
I went out a little too hard last night.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know?
I'm not a parent, so none of this affects me. But I would feel more comfortable with another parent who I might know in my neighborhood
Over a
who
bus
I can-
driver with a CDL?
who I can hold accountable, rather than some random person who happens to be driving for a.
Isn't that what a school bus driver
A
is?
tour.
A random person who's driving for a school system?
Like I said, I don't know how.
And if something happens to your kid in a carpool, who's held accountable? I don't really want to be
Kevin.
accountable if
Kevin.
I get in a car accident and I have somebody else's kids in my car.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly
Like,
right.
Then what happens?
That's exactly right. Kevin says they don't come close to having enough buses. He's talking about the hop-on tours. Any buses help solve this problem. Anything at all helps solve this, right?
Or why doesn't?
He's doing to you what you're doing to me.
No.
Yes.
Or how about this? Why doesn't Albemarle County pay hop-on tours so we don't have to?
There you go.
How about that?
Here's another one. There you go. Or and if your concern is of Albemarle County paying hop-on tours so we don't have to, then just let private business figure out the problem. You know what happens when you rely on government to solve problems?
Nothing happens.
Bureaucracy, red tape, nothing happens. You know what happens when private business entrepreneurs like Kelly and I solve problems?
Money.
Shit gets done.
Shit gets done. You make money.
Shit gets done.
Yeah.
Does it not?
It does.
There you go. Boys and girls, this is the show. Man, my phone is blowing up right now.
Do people like it?
Yeah. They always like it when you come on.
No, not the show. The idea.
Oh, they love. Yes, they love the idea. People are saying, where can I swipe my Visa? Where can I swipe my Visa?
How much does a bus cost?
Look at this. She's already, see what's happening?
I already know what I'm going to do when I go home.
This
CarMax.
is
How much is a
private
bus?
business right there. Already seeing. She goes, how much does a bus cost? Because she knows right now, what would you do?
I'd buy 5 buses.
You would be the Mosby bus.
Uh-huh.
You'd be the Redfields bus.
For sure. I do
You'd-
my whole side of town.
Oak Hill Mountain, Oak Hill Farm,
Yeah,
Whittington.
for sure.
There's 4. And you can throw in the villas at Southern Ridge
Sure.
and Woodlands. That's 6.
Yeah.
all on your side of town.
I just run from Monticello, or Publix on my side of town.
You would just do those.
And I'd pay my drivers $60,000. But I could find a driver, and guess what? I'm going to pocket, what,
90 G's?
Yeah, 90 G's. I'm fine.
90 G's for doing nothing.
Yeah.
That right there is what happens when private business gets involved in governmental problems. They solve the problem. Kelly, this is what I'm going to do for you. Seriously.
Thank you.
It's
It was so fun. Yeah.
So fun.
We always have fun.
I swear to God, it's so fun. I very much enjoy when she comes on the program. So much enjoy when she
Thanks
comes on the
for having
program.
me.
Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller, Kelly Jackson. This is the I Love CVille on a Thursday where we are dynamic and vibrant and bringing the fire. We will be back on Friday at 10:15 a.m. with Neil Williamson filling in for Keith Smith on Real Talk. And then at 12:30 p.m. on the I Love CVille show tomorrow, I got a scoop of tremendous proportions when it comes to Fashion Square Mall. We will have the general manager of the mall herself, Athena Emons, on the show to talk about the future of Home Depot at Fashion Square Mall. Get ready and giddy up. So long, everybody. Dude, that was awesome.
That was so fun. Hiya.
God, dude, that's a great fucking idea.
Great fucking idea.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm going to go see how much.